you have just signed the HubSpot contract. It is an exciting moment. You are likely envisioning a future of seamless automation, perfectly aligned sales and marketing teams, and a dashboard that finally provides the single source of truth you have been seeking. You have the Ferrari of CRMs parked in your digital garage. Now, the big question arises: who will drive it? For many growing businesses, the immediate instinct is to implement HubSpot on their own. It seems simple enough, right? The interface is intuitive, with plenty of knowledge base articles available, and your internal team should be able to figure it out as they go. However, there is a significant difference between a system that is merely turned on and one that is strategically designed. When you treat a CRM like a basic software installation rather than a foundational business transformation, you run into significant CRM implementation risks. Below, we'll explore why the DIY route often costs more than it saves, and how you can ensure your HubSpot portal becomes a growth engine rather than a technical burden. The allure of the do-it-yourself approach. The primary motivation for a DIY setup is almost always cost. Budgets are tight, and if the software is easy to use, paying for professional onboarding might feel like an unnecessary luxury. But here is the reality. Research indicates that DIYers spend 80% more time in the setup phase compared to those who use guided implementation. Think about that for a moment. If your high-level managers are spending dozens of hours watching YouTube tutorials and troubleshooting workflow triggers, what are they not doing? They are not closing deals. They are not refining your marketing strategy. This is the hidden tax of the DIY approach. The RevOps reality check: is your system cobbled or crafted? In the world of revenue operations, RevOps, we often discuss the distinction between cobbled and crafted systems. A cobbled system is what typically occurs during a DIY HubSpot implementation. You build a piece here and a piece there. You create a custom property because you need it today, without realizing that it duplicates a standard property that already exists. You connect an integration without mapping the data flow correctly. Over time, these quick fixes pile up into a Frankenstein portal that is difficult to navigate and impossible to scale. A crafted system, on the other hand, starts with the big picture. It aligns your people, your processes, and your platform. It asks the inquisitive questions first. What does our ideal buyer's journey actually look like? At what exact point does a marketing qualified lead, MQL, become a sales qualified lead, SQL? What data do we need to see in our reports to make better decisions next quarter? Without this RevOps mindset, your HubSpot portal is just a glorified Rolodex. Risk number 1, the data integrity trap. One of the most significant risks associated with CRM implementation is the garbage in, garbage out phenomenon. When you handle your own implementation, data integrity is often the first casualty. If your data properties are not mapped with precision, your automation will fail. Imagine your marketing team sending a welcome email to a client who has been with you for 5 years because their lifecycle stage was never updated. Or worse, imagine losing track of a high-value lead because a sync error between your inbox and your CRM went unnoticed for months. The cost of insufficient data is staggering. According to IBM, poor data quality costs U.S. businesses roughly $3.1 trillion annually. In a DIY scenario, where there is no expert to audit the data architecture, these errors become baked into your system from day one. Risk number 2, low user adoption, the shadow CRM problem. If a CRM is difficult to use or if the data inside it is untrustworthy, your team will stop using it. It is that simple. CRM data hygiene is critical. When a DIY implementation results in a clunky, confusing interface, sales reps often retreat to what they know: spreadsheets, sticky notes, and private email folders. These are shadow CRMs. They exist outside your official platform, meaning you lose all visibility into your pipeline. Industry data shows that 50 to 70% of CRM implementations fail to meet their original objectives, largely due to a lack of user adoption and poor initial strategy. If your team finds the tool more frustrating than helpful, your investment is essentially wasted. Have you asked your team lately if they actually enjoy using your current setup? Risk number 3, the opportunity cost of wasted time. We mentioned that DIYers spend 80% more time on setup. Let's take a closer look at where that time goes. It goes into trial and error. Automation errors, You build a workflow that accidentally sends 500 internal notification emails in 10 minutes. Now you have to spend 3 hours fixing it and apologizing to your team. Reporting woes. You try to build a revenue dashboard, but the numbers don't match your accounting software because the deal amount properties aren't syncing correctly. Training gaps. Because there was no formal onboarding, every new hire has to be mentored by a peer on how to use the system, leading to inconsistent habits. When you add up these hours, the free DIY route often becomes more expensive than hiring a professional agency. Deep dive, the hidden technical debt. When we discuss technical debt in a DIY HubSpot implementation, we refer to the future costs of rectifying poor past decisions. In a DIY scenario, users often install every app in the marketplace that catches their eye. Each integration that is not mapped correctly creates a new point of failure. You might find that your ZoomInfo integration is overwriting the data your sales team manually entered, or your Shopify sync is creating thousands of duplicate contacts. Fixing these issues after the portal is live and full of data is 10 times harder than setting them up correctly the first time. It is like trying to fix the foundation of a house while the family is already living inside. This technical debt slows down your agility. Instead of launching new campaigns, your RevOps person, or the person acting in that role, spends all their time on data cleanup and sync error tickets. Why the awareness stage is critical. If you are reading this, you are likely in the awareness stage of your buyer's journey. You realize something is not quite right. Perhaps your reports are messy, or your team is complaining that HubSpot is too complicated. This is the perfect time to stop and reassess. Continuing with a DIY approach when you already see signs of trouble is a recipe for long-term failure. The goal of RevOps is to align your people, process, and platform. If the platform is built on a shaky DIY foundation, the people and processes will never align. The problem with feature overload. HubSpot releases hundreds of updates every year. A DIY user often tries to use every single feature at once. This leads to feature overload. Just because you can use sequences, workflows, snippets, and playbooks doesn't mean you should use them all on day one. A strategic implementation focuses on the minimum viable portal, the core features that will drive the most revenue today, and then scales as the team grows. DIYers often build massive, complex workflows that they don't actually need, which only adds to the confusion. How to avoid the DIY trap. A strategic roadmap. The goal of this post is not to discourage you, but to empower you. If you are currently in the middle of a DIY setup or planning one, here is how you can pivot toward success. Define your process. Before the platform, do not touch a single setting in HubSpot until you've mapped out your sales and marketing processes on paper or a digital whiteboard. How do leads enter? Who owns them? When do they get handed off? Focus on data cleanliness. Before you import a single contact, ensure your spreadsheet is clean. Standardize your naming conventions for industries, job titles, and lead sources to ensure consistency across your organization. If your old data is messy, your new HubSpot portal will be dirty too. Prioritize professional onboarding. Think of onboarding as a foundation. A specialized partner doesn't just show you where the buttons are. They build the architecture that allows you to scale. They ensure your technical settings, such as DKSPF records for email deliverability, are optimized from the start. Adopt a RevOps mindset. Treat your CRM as a living ecosystem. It requires regular maintenance, audits, and alignment meetings to ensure optimal performance. Your platform should evolve as your business goals change. Invest in training. Software doesn't close deals, people do. Ensure your team understands the why behind the data entry. If they see the value in the data, they will be more likely to maintain its integrity. The long-term vision, scaling with confidence. When you move past the DIY mindset, you start to see HubSpot for what it truly is, a growth engine. A well-crafted portal allows you to forecast revenue with accuracy. It enables your marketing team to see exactly which blog post or social ad resulted in a $50,000 deal. It gives your sales team the time back to focus on building relationships instead of fighting with a database. The difference between a DIY implementation and a professional one is often the difference between a business that stays stagnant and one that scales. By taking the time to do it right, or hiring the experts to ensure it is done right, you are making a long-term investment in your company's future. Success requires strategy. HubSpot is an incredibly powerful tool, but its power lies in its configuration. Companies that prioritize a strategic, RevOps-aligned implementation grow 19% faster and are 15% more profitable than those that do not. You have the tool. Now ensure you have the strategy. By avoiding the common pitfalls of a DIY implementation, you protect your data, your time, and your team's sanity. At Aspiration Marketing, we specialize in turning cobbled portals into crafted growth engines. We understand that HubSpot implementation is not just a technical task, it is a foundational business move. Whether you are just starting your journey or looking to fix a DIY setup that has gone off the rails, our team provides the expert insights and RevOps alignment you need to succeed. Our approach ensures that every workflow, property, and integration is designed with your specific business goals in mind. Would you like us to audit your current HubSpot setup to see if you are at risk, or help you plan a fresh, expert-led implementation? Reach out to Aspiration Marketing today, and let's build something that actually works for you. Let's move away from the stress of figuring it out and move toward the confidence of a platform that truly drives growth.